Hello everyone, good morning.
Mm.
Yes, good morning everyone. Okay, so let's start with the topic. In the last session, we have just started with the basic introduction about software applications, right? So every software application, whenever it is developed and whenever we guys are going to test it, right? We need to understand some internal things for that software application. Basically, that application type, you should know what kind of architecture it is. That is also important to know. Application belongs to which service area? That is nothing but domain information. That is also important to know. And for that reason, this is the first session where we are learning the basics of software application. So in the last session, we have discussed about what exactly software application it is. In simple word, software application is nothing but set of programs, set of instructions, which is used to implement a software or to perform certain action. Okay, this is called software application. There are at broader level two categories: system software and the application software. System software helps the user, or I will say computer resource, to manage their entire resource, right? So it helps computer system to manage entire resource. That is called system software. And it's an internal thing. So basically operating system, some kind of utilities like compiler, interpreter, device drivers. Those are simple examples for system software. Then we have a application software, right? Application software means any application which is useful for the user, correct? So it could be anything. You are playing some game, Microsoft Office suite you are using, you are maintaining your document in the Word file, right? Excel file. That's again what? Application software it is. So yesterday we have discussed about what system software it is, different examples. Along with that, what application software it is, and different example for the same. Then we have discussed about different components of the software application. As I told you, the process will begin with one document, that is software requirement specification document. So when you start testing, you will be getting the document first, where you need to understand the client requirement. Based on those requirement, you will continue your testing process. Correct? But inside that SRS document, you will be getting software requirement in terms of functional, even in terms of non-functional requirement. So components will help you to understand what exactly functional requirements are. So basically, functional requirements talk about functionality of the software application. So here we have discussed different component. This is a common, like all the components are common components for every software application, like user interface, role specific functionality, business rule and validation. Then we have database and data, again reports, interface, logs, and the backend process. So these components are required for every software application. So it is a common component, correct? Again, information about this component you will be getting in terms of functional requirement. And based on those requirements, we do functional testing. That is what you need to understand. Second, only functional requirement is not enough. To implement a quality application, you should understand what exactly non-functional requirement it is. Basically, those are called quality attributes. If any of these quality attribute get fail, it will directly impact on the business of that application. For that reason, these quality attributes are very much important to focus. So generally we have easy UI, global usage, compliance, sensitive data handling, that's security, performance, portability, and the recovery. So every user expect what? Application should be functionality wise working fine. Even there should be basic level security available. Even application should be easy to understand, easy to use. Performance wise also it is quick to use that particular software application, right? Faster. And for that reason, these all are what? Quality attributes, which we need to focus. And quality attributes information you'll be getting in terms of non-functional requirement in your SRS document. So based on that requirement document, you'll be performing software testing. So guys, whenever you are testing functional requirement, that is called functional testing. Whenever you are testing quality attributes of the software, that is called non-functional testing, right? Then after this, we have discussed about domain. Domain is nothing but the service area, correct? Application, where the particular application belongs to. So whenever you will be getting some opportunity, definitely that application or what type of domain actually used in that application, it is important to know. As I discussed, there are two types of domain available: industrial based, second is business process based. Business process means all kind of management type, like HR management, customer relationship management, right? This comes under what? A particular business process, some kind of chain management, right? But when it comes to the e-commerce domain, when it comes to the telecom, when it comes to the finance, right? That's again your industrial based domain. So every different application based on different domain, correct? So here we have taken example for Vodafone, that if Vodafone may require a tester to have a telecom domain knowledge, similarly, if Amazon having some kind of requirement, definitely they need a tester. Those are having e-commerce domain knowledge. So domain knowledge also plays very important role. And for that reason, I have asked you to prepare some document, prepare the basic notes for yourself based on this domain. Like what exactly retail, travel or hospitality domain, what exactly e-commerce domain, insurance domain, even what is banking and financial services. So you need to prepare a small document. Either you can prepare in separate Word file, that's okay. If you want to prepare that separate document in your notebook, that is also okay. And this information you can keep for your reference. Okay. So software application domain information important to know. Along with the domain, we have discussed yesterday four important architecture for every software application. Generally, whenever application get designed, so we know the type of application. Like, okay, application we are using web application. WhatsApp is what? Okay, we are using WhatsApp on mobile device, so it is a mobile application. Correct? Instagram. Even we have a Facebook. So there are different categories of application available. But these application design and develop based on certain blueprint, certain plan. That's called architecture. Correct? And there are how many different types of architectures available? So four types. So starting this field with the IT, like whenever we start the testing and whenever we start the development of the software application, in IT there were previously only one type of application available, that is a desktop. But after that, they feel that okay, desktop is not suitable. Why? Because desktop means application and it's all component. Components, which component? Client, server, database server, everything. Application and its all component resides on one machine and only one user can access it. That is called desktop. Later on, they noticed that desktop is not suitable if you want to share a same copy of application with multiple users. That's the reason they designed client server architecture. So in client server, server is a one machine where the application is actually hosted and other clients are connected with the server through the local area network. So small office setup, college lab, school lab, it is again a client server application or client server architecture based on. So based on the server, like client will pass a request to the server, server will serve the request to that client. And this is how the same copy of application we can share with multiple clients. And that architecture is called client server architecture. Later on, what they notice, client server is only limited for limited area, right? Suppose something I want to share globally. In that case, they design or they implemented third architecture, which is web. In web, we have three different components located at three different area. Example, first is a client. So client is nothing but you can use your browser to pass a request to the web server. So suppose I'm passing request www.google.com. So that's my request. I'm passing it to whom? Google server. Request will goes to the Google server. Google server validate your request and then finally from the database, you will be able to see the result. And this is how the communication happen. So web application, all are based on web architecture. And that's the reason desktop is one tier, client is two tier, and web application is all about three tier. What is mobile application? Nowadays, there is a high demand for mobile application too. Application which resides on a smaller handset, that is called mobile application. Remember. So those application, again, there are different types that we'll be learning, okay, in mobile application testing module. So basically there are three types: native application, some application designed as per the specific platform. Those applications are called native. Some application design as per the, web application. So it's like a web platform. Only through the browser you can access that application, you can use it. Even some application design which has both feature, native plus web, that is called hybrid. So what exactly mobile application it is, and even how we can test it manually plus using automation, that we are covering. Okay. So first of all, this is how you need to understand how exactly different architectures for software applications are available. Today's topic, which I will be starting with, different service model which are available in IT industry. Guys, IT industry, it is actually available in two different types. Okay. Generally, some organizations, they are simply product based. Some organization, they are simply project based. Means IT is completely divided into two different type. We can say product based organization and project based. Now, first thing is, what you need to understand, what do you mean by product and what do you mean by project. See, in a simple word, if any application designed for a one specific client, if any application design for one specific client, that is called project. What is project? Whenever application designed for a single client. So consider like yesterday example. We have a HDFC bank, and HDFC bank wants to implement their software application, right? So what is HDFC? It is a single client. And for that bank, we are developing suppose any software application. So that is we can call as a project. So there are project-based organizations available like Wipro, Accenture, right? Even Capgemini. All these are what? Project-based organizations. But when it comes to the product means application get designed and developed as per the market need, not for a single client need. Are you getting my point? So the best example, Microsoft, Google, IBM, HP, those are what? Product-based organizations. Are you getting my point? So software application service model based on the same thing. First of all, somewhere we are responsible to implement a project. Means there might be one client provides you some requirement, okay? And whenever you are designing, developing and testing application for that specific client, that means you are completing your project, correct? Product based means suppose as per the market need, application is implemented, right? Then it is called product. Let's say, let me give a simple example. So you guys are aware that because due to some 2019 pandemic situation, right? Google have introduced new feature, Google Meet. Even Microsoft also introduced new feature, that's a Microsoft Team. And through which we can simple connect the session, we can communicate and even online work, it is possible, right? So how exactly the Google Meet simply implemented, how exactly this Microsoft Team got implemented, because at that time they noticed the current market situation, what which was what, like nobody's simply like it's a complete online mode, everybody from their home they can simple work. And for that reason, as per the market need, they have implemented, they have added that feature. So many people at that time definitely in still again we are using the same application, still we are using Microsoft Team, still we are using Google Meet, because nowadays it is very very quick, correct? If you want to communicate, just create one meeting and you can directly communicate with the people. So that's the reason whenever any application designed for a single client need, that is called project. Whenever any application designed for a market need, that is called product. And there are a lot of products available in the market. Example, guys, Microsoft Office Suite, that is also one of the product example, right? Product means something, every time you will get some new update in that software application. Operating system, one of the product, correct? Operating system is also one of the product. So based on the product information, based on the project information, we develop, design and test software application. So there are total 5 service model we'll be learning in this particular, topic. First is project. As I told you, if any application designed for a specific client need, that is called project. If any application designed for a complete market need, that is called a product. Somewhere, suppose product is already ready, but what we need to do, we need to make some changes in that. So like the same example, latest version in software like Windows 11 is available, but later on there might be a possibility, maybe after 1 year 2 year you'll be getting new version for Windows, that is Windows 12. So why, like every version, whatever version it is, previously it was 10, now it is 11 in the market, maybe after 2 years you'll be getting 2012, right? I mean Windows 12. So tell me, why we have a same software with different version? Because in every version you are getting some new functionalities, new features. Are you getting my point? So whenever any software application get designed, and if it is a product, many people are using it, right? So definitely that product needs some kind of enhancement. So what is enhancement service model? Somewhere applications are already implemented, but client will come up with some new ideas, new feature to be introduced, and based on that, same application we need to upgrade, correct, with that new feature, and that is called enhancement. So that's the third service model. What is next? Next is very interesting. Customization of COTS. COTS stand for commercial off the shelf product. Let me write commercial off the shelf product. What is meaning of this, See, it's very simple. What happened? Like this is a service model. So sometimes what happen, customer needs in a different application, similar kind of services. Like when we talk about, let's say, Zomato and Swiggy, right? So similar kind of services are there. Zomato is also showing you all the nearest restaurants to you. Swiggy also doing the same thing, right? And even you have a map facility, you can observe that the prices and the difference, that on which item what, how much discount it is provided by that application, everything we can observe. So somewhere what happen, suppose there are multiple application needs some common functionality, so we can design such a common functionality, and we can simple allow the customer, that customer can, suppose customer needs to implement a new software application, then instead of developing those feature again and again, if already it is implemented by somebody else, we can purchase it and we can customize it too. And that is called customization of codes. So somewhere login is again common functionality. So instead of developing that, prepare a login functionality ready, and you can ask a customer, okay, this is what you need. Okay, we have that functionality ready with us. But only the point is what, you need to purchase it, and then you can use it and customize it according to your use. So login is just an example. But in general, whenever some kind of basic functionalities are required, so developer don't waste their time to implement those things again and again, because there might be multiple clients need the same thing. So best approach is what? Implement those feature and apply over their customization of codes. So whenever client needs those feature, client can either purchase that particular features which are currently available in the market, and again client can customize it as per their own use. And this example is called, or this service model is called customization of codes, right? And then we have one more thing to understand. Last service model in the IT industry, that is the re-engineering. Somewhere there might be a possibility. You need to completely change platform of the software application. Means you are updating your software, but re-engineering means you are rebuilding the same software again. So maybe there is a possibility. Currently your software application working for some older platform. Okay. And now you want to simple convert to the new platform. Yes, that is possible. Example, my application, it was working for Windows only. Now I want to implement same application which is working for Android. What is this? We are simply re-implementing the same application and we are changing the platform. Are you getting my point? This is called re-engineering. So basically, whenever we work with IT, you need to first understand what is a project, what is a product, and how many different service models are available in IT. So somewhere what is happening? Somewhere you are responsible to implement a project. The project means whenever you are preparing or whenever you are fulfilling the single client need, that is a project. Whenever application design develop as per the market need, that is the product. Possibility, application is already available, but as per the customer need, we are making some changes in that. That is called enhancement. Somewhere, some common functionality we need, and those functionality already implemented. So we can purchase it and we can customize it in our project. That is called customization of costs. And re-engineering means customer wants to change a complete platform. Customer wants to rebuild the same software application maybe for some other platform. In that case, it is called re-engineering service model. First, tell me, this point is clear to all? What are the different service models available in IT? Okay, just unmute, message, anything. Okay, great. So, in case you are facing any difficulty, you are not understanding any topic, please do ask me queries. Huh? You can ask me. Yes. Okay, great. So now it is time to understand like application whenever it is used, there are different types of users, right? Who are using the software application. So application can be used by the business user, it can be used by the community user or some kind of technical user. But tell me, every user expect the same thing. Application should be quality one. There should not be any failure in the software application. So whenever I'm sharing my data, it should be secure, correct? Every user expect the same thing. The user expectations are always common. And for that reason, to implement a quality application, even to deliver a quality application to our customer, testing is required. So here, few points. What is software testing? See, there are many definitions. You can refer anyone. So first, I have prepared that testing it is a process of identifying defects or bugs from the software application. See, there is a difference in between bug and defect, okay? Defect at a broader level, like any difference between anything related to software like functionality problem, UI problem, that is called defect. Bug is related generally errors, some internal errors whenever developer creates a code, and if that particular internal errors are not working properly or you are getting certain technical problems, that is we can call it as bug. So whenever we test the software application, you need to answer it is a process where we can test the application to identify defect from that application. That is called software testing. There is a one more definition which is very interesting. Testing it is a process of verifying functional correctness, completeness, security, and quality of developed application. Few parameters need to understand. See, first is correctness, completeness, security, and quality. So few topics you need to understand. What is this? Testing is simply, it is a process where we can test correctness, completeness, security, and quality for developed application. Means what? See, whenever we test correctness, correctness in terms of what? In terms of only and only functionality of that software application. Do remember that. So you have a certain requirements to fulfill, correct? Consider we are implementing any e-commerce application, and for that we have certain requirements to fulfill. Let's say total 100 requirements are given by the customer. So every time whenever you are testing those requirements, whenever you are simply preparing your application and even preparing your test cases, you need to make sure that application should work functionality wise correct. So that is called correctness. Completeness means what? So out of 100 requirement, customer is expecting what? 80 requirement must be completed, and 20 that's okay. 20 requirements if you are just basic feature you are completing, that is also okay. So these features are required, but these are basics only required. Consider something this kind of, we have some access criteria. Okay. You know what happened? 100% software application we can't test. Do remember that one more principle. Okay. We can't test any application 100%. So every time whenever customer provides requirement, customer provides some acceptance criteria. And based on that acceptance criteria, you have to test the application. So current acceptance criteria is what? 80% features they need fulfill, complete features as it is, and 20% features, only basics they are expecting. So whenever we develop and design and test the software application, we need to make sure that we are actually fulfilling acceptance criteria given by the client. Are you getting my point? Whatever criteria it is. Somewhere 90% application they are expecting it should be defect free. So we should match this acceptance criteria. And then it is called completeness. Means whenever application design develop as per the customer need, as per the acceptance criteria of the customer, then only we can call it as complete software application. Clear? What is security? Guys, as I told you, every software application, there should be basic level security. Means what? You know what? In security, 3 points. Only 3 points you need to focus. First, first important point is authentication. Second important point is authorization. And third important point is that's all about data security. So how it is possible? Authentication means what? So we can test if user is a valid user, then application should allow the access for that particular user. But if user is invalid user, application should deny the access to that user. So authentication means here we can test both access. What if user is valid, and what if user is invalid? So simple thing na, whenever you are working, like let's say I'm trying to log in into Amazon. Okay. If my credentials are valid, then only I can able to log in. But if my credentials are wrong, somewhere my password is wrong, somewhere my email address is wrong, in that case, application will not allow you to do login. That is what we are testing, authentication. So in security point or security testing, we have to focus on these three areas. Authentication, where we can check whether user or application allowing for valid user access and application denying the access for the invalid user. But what if user is a value? Again, it is important to focus that how much access will be there for that user. Now example, currently you are on my valid user. So you guys can access the recording. So basically, if any user is a valid, then only that user can access the recording for every session. That is what? Authorization. So authorization, we simply focus on valid user. Authorization defines access control for that user, how much that user can access from that software application. That is called authorization. And guys, when it comes to the data security, you know, what is meaning of this? Somewhere we are sharing our data. Suppose I want to create a new account in a Facebook or let's say LinkedIn. I will be sharing some details, correct? So those details must be secure. So you know what happened? Somewhere we do certain transactions. Like in banking system, suppose I'm sharing some amount to your account, right? So I'm sending some amount to your account. In that case, whatever data I'm sending, it must be secure. The same amount should be deducted in my account and same amount should be incremented in, of course, your account. What is happening here? We are just sending some data and we are making sure that data is also secure. So internally, just to maintain data security, developer use certain algorithms, which is called encryption and decryption algorithm for a security purpose. Huh? Encryption and decryption algorithm for a security purpose. So somewhere I'm passing, suppose test 123 as a password, but same password you'll be getting in this way. Now, why? Because nobody can hack it, nobody can access it. And then this password goes to the software application where software will do the validation. If your password is true, then you can access that application. So basically encryption means what? Converting original data in some symbolic format or some different format which user can't read. That is called encryption. But whenever this data get passed to the software, from the software side it will decrypt. And then that symbolic pattern again get converted into original data. So this is how securely we are able to communicate with the software, and that is called data encryption and data decryption. So when it comes to security, 3 points we can focus. We can test whether user is a valid and how the application is allowing access to that valid user. If user is invalid, how the application denying the access to that invalid user. And third point, if user is a valid, then we have to focus on authorization, means access control for that user. The user can't make any change, but user can access the application feature. Okay. And last point is data security. So basically in every application, we have to focus for security, these three important parameters. Then guys, what is quality? As I told you, quality means consistently meeting the customer need in terms of requirement, duration, budget, and even service offered to that customer. So testing, it is a process. You can refer this definition also. Testing, it is a process where we can test correctness, completeness, security, and quality for developed software application. So here I have mentioned the same, correct? One more definition you can refer, testing is a process of executing a program with the intent of finding error or defect. So it is a process where we can run the particular software application and we have to identify certain defect from that software application. So any definition you can refer. Okay. What is quality? Same thing, consistently meeting the client need in terms of requirement, budget, schedule, service offered to that client. That is called quality. The most important term, defect. What exactly defect means? So guys, defect means any flaw in software system where you can see the difference between expected actual result, that is called defect. So in software testing, first point, as a tester, you are responsible to identify the defect. Do remember that. Okay. So whenever you test the application, your main objective is what? Start testing early and identify defect from the software application as early as possible. And even you can get them fixed from the developer team. So ask a developer to fix it, because whenever developer fix those defects, then only quality will increase. And then again we can reconfirm the same thing, like whether defect is properly fixed by the developer team, and then we can again release a quality application to our customer. So everybody, those are working for that software application, they have a common goal, like develop, design, test everything as a quality one, correct? Quality application and release a quality application to our customer. So you should prepare some example for defect also. Can you try? Can you give me any example of defect? What do you think? What could be the defect? So somewhere, let me give some example. Suppose, what I'm expecting that, like I'm just using any software application, I'm entering my URL address, and what I'm expecting within 3 seconds, it should start or it should load the home page. That is what my expected result. But when I enter the URL address, my application is taking almost 10 seconds to load the particular page or home page in the browser. Then this is a defect. Why? Because expected timeout is what? 3 seconds only. Within 3 seconds, it should load. But suppose my application is taking extra time to load, then we can simply consider it is as a defect. So this defect related to performance. What is related to functionality? Suppose I'm trying to log in into Facebook. I enter my invalid credential and still I'm able to log in into software application with that invalid credential. Then we can say it is a defect. Are you getting my point? Because what is expected? Only valid user can log in with valid credential. But still if I enter something wrong and still my application allowing the same, then that is we can consider as a defect. Got it? That's a functionality related defect. Suppose I'm just calculating some numbers. Basic example, 2 plus 2, I'm expecting it should be 4. But in the output I'm getting, in my software application, I'm getting 4.0. This is allowed? Tell me. No, because answer should be only 4. Why there is a floating or decimal digit added? So this is we can consider as a defect. Simple. What else? There can be problem with the logo or color combination, some kind of, the spelling mistake in your company name. These are again defects only. Suppose I'm expecting the logo for Facebook. It should display like Facebook. The spelling should be this, right? Facebook. But suppose in application it is displaying something like this, fake book. Nobody's going to use that now. So if you notice anything related to cosmetic changes, some color you are expecting for the logo, it should be in a red color. But actually logo is implemented in some different color. So whenever you notice that expected result and actual result is not matching, that you can raise as a defect. Simple. So defect, it could be related to anything for your software application. It could be functionality problem, it could be UI problem, it could be performance problem, it could be compatibility issue. Then we can simple raise it as what? Defect. So now it is time to understand different objective. Three objectives you need to remember. Okay? Very first, what is the objective for software testing? So guys, when we test any software application, we have to focus that. Obviously, software application working as per its given requirement. So basically, what objective we are learning or what objective software testing defines? See that. To demonstrate that software is doing what it is supposed to do, as well as it is most important to focus on to demonstrate that software is not doing what it is not supposed to do. The software testing objective simply defines that as a tester, you have to check that software is doing what it is supposed to do. Means, as per the requirement, every feature, every functionality, it is implemented and software is doing the same thing. But guys, whenever we test this thing, that software is doing what it is supposed to do, that is called positive testing. Remember, huh? You are testing the software application for the given requirement of the customer, right? So as per the requirement you are testing. So customer says that, okay, fine, there should be a username field available and username should accept only between 4 to 10 character. Means what is my requirement? There is username field and it should accept only 4 character to 10 character data. So this is my given requirement, right? Whenever I test it for a same requirement, okay, then what I will do? I will pass the data in between that range. So suppose if I have a username which includes 5 character, 6 character, 7 character, even 4 character, 10 character, 4 to 10, any number of group of characters should be accepted. Then I can say it is called positive testing. So whenever we test the application that software is supposed to do, like whatever it is defined in the requirement, same thing your software is doing or not, right? Demonstrate that software is doing what it is supposed to do. That is called positive testing. But guys, if you do only positive testing, you will not get a defect in software application. And for that reason, it is important to focus on negative testing also. Negative means what? So in the given requirement, it is written that only 4 to 10 character is allowed. So for negative, I can try some negative scenarios. What if only 3 letters or 3 character data user has entered? So I will be testing less than 4 character. I can test greater than 10 character. Is it allowed or not? And which is I'm expecting it should not allow. Correct? I can check with numbers. I can check with some special symbols. And what is that, guys? Here, whenever we test that, whether software application, okay, it is not working as per the particular, which it not supposed to do. Simple. Like these requirement, these things should not be accepted in the application. And that is also we need to test, guys, in real time. So it is not only kind of positive testing, but you have to go for negative testing also. So negative testing means what? Software is doing what it's supposed to do, that is positive. Then it is most important to focus on software is not doing what it is not supposed to do. Means suppose if I have entered some number, my application should not accept this number. This is what? Negative testing. But you have to prepare a separate test cases for that. And then only you can test it, right? But suppose if you prepare only test cases for positive testing, you will not find out any defect. So that's the reason it's a simple demonstration, or it is a simple objective, that whenever you will be testing any software application, test it in two ways. Do testing in positive way also, do testing in negative way also, just to get number of defect. Point is clear? See, this type of testing, is it really you want to do or not? It is not mentioned in the requirement. In the requirement, you will be getting all the requirement related to positive testing. So this is totally based on thinking process of the tester. Remember, negative testing, nobody is giving you separate scenario for negative testing. They will just write, okay, fine, test the username field which accept 4 to 10 character. So it's your responsibility. Think some out of box. If given requirement is this, and what if somebody enters some number and still your application is accepting that, then you can raise that problem as a defect. Are you getting my point? So objective of software testing is very simple. Test the application in both way, positive plus negative. In technical word, you can explain, demonstrate that software is doing what it is supposed to do, as well as it is more important to demonstrate that software is not doing what it is not supposed to do. And then you can say, definitely whenever you prepare positive negative testing, you will be definitely getting number of defect. Point clear? That's your main software testing objective. When it comes to the developer and tester objective, first of all, let's discuss some responsibility. So developer and tester. So first of all, let's understand what are the different responsibilities of developer and tester. Very first, developer is responsible to develop the quality application. So obviously, programming, with the help of programming, developer write the code, correct? So developer will write the code, fine. Whenever developer write that code, debugging, it is a process which is done by the developer only. So developer debug the code. Now guys, debug code means what? What do you mean by debugging first? Let's understand. So whenever developer prepares some code, developer has to confirm that line by line developer has to test that particular code. And if any error found, example, suppose I'm having 4 lines or 5 lines, then on line number 3, I'm having some error. So debugging is a process where developer can find out error, even developer can find out root cause of this error, and even developer can fix the same. So identifying root cause of the problem and fixing the same, that process is called debugging. So developer is responsible to write the logic, even execute it, debug it, right? Developer is also responsible to unit testing. First point, unit testing is also responsibility of a developer. Means what? Generally, unit means any smallest part of your application. Okay. So yesterday, if you remember, we have discussed about the module, correct? So for software application, there are different modules are available. Example, when you take any software application, let's say Gmail. In Gmail, first of all, registration, login, inbox, compose mail, all these are what small module. So developer is responsible to write that logic, complete the code, and who is then going to test that code? Obviously, every tester is not a technical person, right? Suppose I'm not aware about anything related to programming, then obviously nobody is going to ask me to do unit testing. Are you getting my point? Because for unit testing means process of testing that smallest unit of application separately. So it is usually done by the developer. Unit testing is not a responsibility of a tester. Are you getting my point? So developer is responsible to write the logic, implement the code, debug it, right? Unit testing of that same module, it is also done by the developer. And there is a one more, that developer is responsible to fix the defect. So I'll be writing defect fixing. Defect fixing also done by the developer, guys. Then what is the responsibility of a tester? Let's discuss. So we don't perform any debugging. We don't write again any code in manual testing, correct? Unit testing also we don't do. Here our responsibility is what? Start testing early. Basically, you are understanding, let me write, understanding requirement of the customer. Based on that, you can verify the document. Even based on that, you can prepare your test cases. Even after execution, you can just identify defect. Okay, prepare some reports. These are the basic responsibility of a tester. So whenever you are working in manual testing, you don't need any programming knowledge, correct? Manual testing is based on completely process, but you should responsible or you should know what is role and responsibility of a tester. The first point, tester is responsible to identify defect. So that defect will be fixed by the developer team. That's not your responsibility. So you are not at all responsible to write a logic, debug the code, or do unit testing. Even defect fixing also, it's not your role. Defect identification is your role. So guys, developer tester mindset, even objective totally different. There is one interview question. Why can't developer test their own product? Because product is designed, developed by developer only. Then why can't developer test it? Because mindset and objective for testing, it is totally different. Objective for developer is simple, develop the quality application, that's it. But objective of a tester is what? Test the application as early as possible, identify the defect, and ask a developer to fix it just to improve the quality. So because of mindset, because of objective is different, developer can't test their own functionality. Are you getting my point? So see, develop the quality application as per the client. That's again objective for a developer. Tester objective is find the defect as early as possible from the application and get them fixed by the developer team. Ask a developer to fix it. Debugging is a responsibility which is done by the developer, not by the tester. Are you getting my point? So these are the small interview topics you need to understand. And here we have completed our first module, basics of software application. Today I will be sharing the notes. Along with that, I'm expecting that you should prepare these questions. Okay, somewhere you can maintain a document on your notebook. In your own understanding, you can write the answer. So what exactly software it is, different example for system software, application software, difference between web and the client server, and what is domain. I hope these points are clear. So this is what we have discussed, the basics of software application. Now it is time to start our first module from software testing. That's all about software testing fundamentals. Okay, shall I continue? Anything you want to ask me? Any query? Okay, till the time we have just started with basic application only, right? Now it is time to start our main topic. What is software testing? What are the different fundamentals to learn, right? So basic agenda for this particular module, it's all about, you will be learning here what is software testing, which we have already discussed. Why to test any software application, what is need of that? Even what is importance of testing? Reasons for software defect. Participants, those can perform software testing. And the one more thing is best practices in software testing. So let's start with very basic introduction, which you are already aware. So testing, it is a process where we can test the software application to identify defect. So here the definition mentioned, it is a process to evaluate functionality of the software application with the intent to find the defect. Testing is a process where we can execute a program or a system with the intent of finding error. So any definition you can refer. What is defect? Just now we have discussed. It is a difference between or variance between expected and actual result. Or you can answer in this way. Defect is nothing but any flaw in software system where we can see the difference between expected and actual result. That is we can call as a defect. Correct? Now guys, what is the need of testing? So first point is what? As I told you, everybody is responsible to design, develop and test high quality software application. So what is need of testing? So whenever we develop any software application, we can't release that application as it is to our customer. So we need to test it. Why? Just to improve the quality. To get some defect from that software application, improve the quality of that product, we need to perform software testing. So the failure, okay, whatever defects, whatever failures are available, it should not be noticed by the end user or any other customer. And for that reason, before releasing the software application, we need to test it. So some reasons are mentioned. See that. So to find the defect, to make a good quality product should be easy to use, easy to learn, easy to understand, and even high performance. And every software application must be reliable. We can easily trust on that. And when it will be possible, whenever you test the application, whenever you release a quality application to the customer, then only it is possible. So in general, every customer expects some defect free application, right? Failure, it is not expected by that customer. And for that reason, those failure defects should not be noticed by the any end user or customer. So before releasing it, we have to test it. I want to discuss some real time examples for that. Like somewhere, have you noticed defects in software application? See, recently Facebook server got simply down. So that is again, whenever server is down and people are trying to log in, somewhere people are getting the messages at that time that you have login with some other devices, and that is a defect. So recent defect, it's related to Facebook, which is done in the last week only. But there are some defects example I want to discuss. That in April 2015, okay, plumber terminal in London crashed in because of software glitch and affected more than 3 lakh traders on the financial market. So this was happened in April 2015. Even you might aware about Nissan car, right? Nissan cars recall over 1 million car from the market due to again software failure in the airbag sensory detector. Because of that airbag failure, they were faced some two accidents. See, two accident due to this software failure, and that's the reason they simply recalled 1 million car from the market. So if any software glitch is available, means any problem is available in your software application, somewhere the impact can be normal impact, okay, that we can easily recover or we can overcome that. But somewhere the impact we cannot overcome. Let's say one more example. This is again the real time. In Amazon, some Amazon third party retailers saw their product cost to simply reduce to 1p due to same software problem, software glitch. And they were left with heavy losses. Okay, with in that case. So basically that was a pen drive. Okay, somewhere in Amazon, I don't remember exact year, but the pen drive cost, it is 1p at that time. And many people have purchased the same. So within 1p, they got a pen drive. Simple. So it's a pesa, right? So within that, they release or they got a particular, pen drive. And that is reason, you know, these kind of software glitch available in the market, right? Sometimes it happen. And whenever it is there, definitely it will impact huge on that end user, even on that customer. So that's the reason, guys. Without testing, we can't release any software application to the market because we are not expecting this kind of failure should be noticed and should be faced by that end user or customer. Are you getting my point? So whenever we are using any software application, we are expecting, we have certain expectation from the software application that application should work correctly, right? Performance wise, security wise, there should not be any issue. And that is what every end user is expecting. So why testing is important? Because every software should be defect free, efficient and secure. To increase the software quality, testing is important. Now, there is a one more point I need to add. Testing effort is directly proportional to the complexity of the program. Means what? See, somewhere you are testing a software application which is a simple application. So I will say efforts are required less. Okay, because it's a very simple application. But somewhere you are testing some complex functionality where the each and every point is important to focus. There come efforts more. So testing efforts are directly proportional to the complexity of the program. Are you getting my point? Simple application, less effort. Complex feature, more effort you need to take to identify defect from that software application. And that's the reason more complex program, more testing efforts are required. Are you getting my point? So why testing is important? To release a quality application, to fulfill the customer need, right? And to deliver quality application to our customer, testing is important. Correct? Now what is next? What are the reason? Now tell me, what do you think? Okay, fine. We are here to understand, yes, what testing it is. That we learn that testing it is a process where we can test the software application, we can identify the defect. But suppose if it is a time to discuss that why we have a defect in software, what could be the reason? Can anybody tell me the answer? What do you think? Why we have a defects in the software? Mhm. What could be the reason? See, if you remember, yesterday I told you that development cycle, that's the main process, correct? We design, develop, and test the application based on SDLC. SDLC includes multiple phases. Many team members they work together. They design, develop, and test the software application. Correct? Means we have a BA team separately. We have a design team separately. Developer team separately. Plus we have a testing team separately. Now what is happening? Somewhere first phase is what? Requirement gathering. Now just think in this requirement gathering, which is responsibility of a BA person. BA can ask or communicate to the customer and BA can collect the requirement. What if requirement itself are the poor requirement? What will happen? Suppose client is sharing some idea which is not understood by the BA or which is wrongly understood by the BA. Then whatever document will be, that will be wrong. Are you getting my point? So somewhere there might be issue with the requirement. Possible. Somewhere requirement is incomplete. Somewhere requirement is too complex to understand. Possible. Are you getting my point? So there might be issue with the requirement phase. Possible. If requirements are wrong, and if every other phase is based on the requirement phase only, means based on requirement design is done, based on design development is done, and then based on the same requirement and application we have tested it. Now tell me, final application will be the quality one? No, there is no guarantee. Why? Because there is a problem with the requirement itself. So basically, reasons for defect doesn't mean we are blaming to some person, right? We don't need to blame on developer or any particular BA person. Basically, it could be problem with any of this phase which is available in development cycle. There might be problems with the requirement phase. There might be complex design or complex architecture is available. Because of that, it is quite difficult to understand the relation between the module. Possible. Maybe poor development. Developer lacking their skill. They are not able to develop the application. So poor development is also possible. What are the defects? What is the reason for testing? Same thing. You are not able to understand requirement of the client. How exactly you'll be preparing your test cases? Again, lacking of skill. I will write lack of skill. That's again a one problem with the tester. Correct? There might be a possibility. Tester is not aware how to do manual testing. Then it is very difficult to test the application. Again, what is else? Somewhere, time management is also important. As I told you, we need to implement a software application within a given duration. Now just think, suppose you have to do lot of things. Like maybe you are preparing test cases, executing it, generating report, and you have very limited time in hand. So somewhere if there is a problem with the time, in that case also, we can simple make a mistake. And because of that, you might get a new defect in the software application. Suppose there is a communication gap in the team. Okay. Developer, tester, BA, they are not communicating at all. In that case also, there might be a problem that you might get a new defect in the software application. So defect reason, it doesn't mean blaming to some person or blaming to some particular phase. It's all about general reason. There might be issues with the requirement. So somewhere changing poor and complex requirement. There is a possibility if your client is again and again changing his need. It is also difficult to understand. And based on that, if you implement the software, there might be possibility you might get a new defect in a software. So this is the first reason, poor requirement. There might be poor design, poorly documented code, time pressure. we have to do a lot of things in short time. We have a time pressure. So in that case, there might be a problem that any people, those are working in particular team or that particular project, they can make a mistake. So because of time pressure, suppose miscommunication and no communication between the team. This is also one more reason for defect. Software complexity, some kind of programming errors and developer not found that errors, mistakes, problems, then again there is a problem. You might get a new defect in a software application. And again, lack of skill tester. So basically, if anybody asks you what are the general reason for software defect, in that case, you need to answer as per the development cycle. There might be issues with the requirement, there might be issues with the design, development skill, communication problem between the team, time pressure, maybe customer is changing his requirement again and again, maybe tester is also not aware like how to do testing, that's again lack of skill. In that case, software raise particular defect. So these are the common reason for a software defect. Point is clear, everybody? What are the common reason for defect? These are the common reason for defect. Okay. Then if I ask you, who are the participant? Okay, when to start before that? Who are the participant for testing? What do you think? Who can test the software application? Mhm. Who can test the software application? Yes. Okay, everybody. Yes. Who can test the software application? Okay, developer can test the application. Okay. So only developer or some other team member also can do? What do you think? Who can test the software application? So first point, what is happening. Generally, testing, it is performed by the software tester, correct? But what happened? Just now we have discussed different team member. First is a BA person. Whenever BA collects requirement validation done by the BA. So basically, BA also can do the testing now, but BA is doing testing related to requirements only, right? So these requirements generally verified by the BA. So BA can also perform software testing. Second, that's the system architect. System architect, whenever they design any software design, any architecture, that architecture validation also done by the system architect. Okay, so this is related to design phase. Okay. Then developer guys, obviously, as I told you, whenever developer write the logic, that complete module will be tested by whom? Developer. So developer is responsible to do unit testing, first thing. Plus developer is responsible to do integration also. Means somewhere two modules are ready and developer wants to integrate this both module together. Let's say this is a code for registration. This is a code for login, right? And developer wants to simple test the relation between login and register. Like after registration, user can simply perform login. So how that two modules should be integrated? The code merge process, which is done by the developer. So yes, developer can also do the testing, correct? And yes, as a software tester, you can test software application. So you also simple perform software testing and that's your main role. But again, whenever you release application to the customer, whenever you release application to the end user, these people also test the software application. But guys, if you focus clearly, as per the development cycle, everybody those are involved in the process, they can do software testing. But more relevantly, as per the objective, testing is done by the software tester. Are you getting my point? So BA can test, but BA is not testing full software. BA can only test the requirement. Design team, they can test only design. Developer team, they can test only coding. But tester can test before development, after development, entire process. Are you getting my point? So you are the main who is going to test entire software application. But the same thing now, whenever you are releasing software application to the customer also need to check that whether application is as per his requirement or not. And for that reason, customer end user also they can do testing. Are you getting my point? So correct solution for this question, like when to participants, those are participants. Who are the participants in software testing? So yes, everybody, tester, developer, user, business analyst, auditors, everybody can do software testing. But more relevantly, it is done by the software tester. So other people can do, but you are the main who's responsible to test the entire software application. But now it is time to understand two questions, interview questions. When to start testing, when to stop testing. The first question, let me ask, when to start testing. So guys, let me give you certain scenario first. Consider, okay, application develop as per the development cycle. So we have first requirement phase, requirement gathering. Then second is design. Third is development. After development, here it is testing. And finally, we are deploying the application and we are maintaining it. This is deployment. And consider here I'm releasing my software application. So suppose everything is okay, like after requirement design, after design development, testing and deployment. So finally here we can release a software application to our customer. Now in this all phases, what do you think? From which point we can start testing? From which point we can start testing? Testing should be started from which point? So it is mentioned that testing is a field or testing is a phase which is after development. If you are right answer after development, we can start. Yeah, I can see after development, right? So after development, if you start, let's see the issue. Okay. So guys, please understand whenever we are working any software application, any project, few things you need to make sure that three important things. First of all the requirements should be fulfilled. Correct. Cost of that project should not be increased. Whatever it is defined within that we have to complete. And one more thing, duration. Now let me discuss. Suppose we have certain requirements from the customer, that is 10 requirement. Okay. 10 requirement get designed. Okay. 10 requirement get developed. And after development, we started testing phase. What will happen? Suppose here I have tested the software application and I noticed that there is a problem with design phase. What I found? Problem in design. Now tell me, what will happen? I have to report back to developer. Okay, fine, there is a problem with design. Because of design, your code is wrong. So again, developer, see what is happening. If the problem is in design phase, again, there is a change required to happen or to perform in this design phase. So definitely what will happen? Design phase, they need to simply change their design, correct? They need to update their design. So let me write, update design. Now what happened? If design phase got updated itself, based on the designing development happen, so developer also need to update. Yes, update development. Okay. And then again, we are testing that software application. So what is happening? If there is a problem with the design, there is a rework increase for every other team member. So basically, we are going to retest it again. Again, we need to confirm that whether previous problem is fixed or not. Correct? So testing again we have to do after fixing the issues also. So if you found a defect in design phase, developer team need to be updated, design team need to be updated. Okay. Then there is a rework. Whenever there is a rework, what is happening? At this moment, cost get increased. At this moment, duration also increase. Always remember, fixing defect is also important. But whenever you fix the defect, cost will definitely increase for that defect. So guys, now just think, suppose if we start testing late in the life cycle, that is after development, and if I notice there is a problem with the requirement itself, now tell me what will happen? If you notice after development, there is an issue with the requirement need to update. Based on requirement, design team need to rework. Based on design, developer team, based on requirement, developer team need to rework. And then think cost of the defect. What do you think? Can I say in simple word? If you start testing late in the life cycle, you will identify defect late, and even fixing cost of that defect is always high. Why high? Because as soon as the rework is there, automatically cost of fixing defect get increased. Are you getting my point, everybody? So what is the best practice? Don't start testing after development. Basically, you can start testing right from the requirement, and you can continue testing till the release. Means at every phase, tester can test the software application. Okay, how come? That I will cover, don't worry. But for now, try to understand the best practice. Because there is a simple reason. If you start testing late, this is the biggest issue. You might notice there is a defect I found which is related to requirement phase, related to design phase. If it is related to development, only development phase need to rework. But if you caught a defect which is related to some previous phases, yes, it will be impacting high there. Cost of defect fixing always high, and even duration get increased, and then on time you are not able to deliver your project. So that's the reason testing should start always from right from the requirement phase, and it should continue till the release. So now tell me, suppose I'm testing requirement. So basically, guys, software testing, it doesn't mean you are testing only software application. You are passing only input, you are checking only output. No. Somewhere from the requirement phase, from the design phase, from the development phase, you will be getting certain documentation. As I told you, na, SRS document from the requirement you will get. Similarly, from design, you will be getting some design document. Similarly, from development, you'll be getting some code document. So what tester can test? See, tester can test all the documentation, as well as tester can test software application. So the point is what? Whenever we start testing, we have these phases. Okay. See, requirement phase where you will just get a document. Obviously, here we can't do any execution. We can't pass any input. We can't pass any output, or we can't test any output, because here you are just getting some document. In design phase also the same thing. You will be just getting architectural document. Correct? In coding, software will develop by the developer. But after coding, here in testing phase, what we can do? We can perform execution. Are you getting my point? Here we can do execution. Means before software also we are testing it. After development also we are testing it. But these two different area. Before development, we can just review the document. We can identify defect from the document by observing that document, by reading that document. And that's the reason process of this type of testing, it is called static testing or verification. Are you getting my point? What is meant by static testing? When we test the application without execution, that is called static testing. But when we test the application with execution, this is called dynamic or validation. Because whenever I have something to evaluate, then only I can pass the input, then only I can test the output. But if you are starting from the requirement, what's your role? Guys, you are responsible to review the document. Simple. Here your responsibility is what? Review. Whatever documents are there, you need to understand it, you need to review it. If you notice that there is a problem in requirement, immediately you can ask that author. See, here developer responsibility is not to fix the problem. Correct? If you found any defect related to document, you will be asking the author of that document who have prepared it. Means if I notice that there is a problem with requirement, my role is ask a BA person to verify requirements again, because of some kind of issue that I notice there is a problem with requirement. Maybe requirement is incomplete. In that case, BA is responsible to fix the problem. Because this document prepared by the BA, you are asking the BA to make the changes. So BA will verify, BA will make the changes. So basically, if you found defect at a requirement phase, what do you think? Cost of fixing will be very cheap, right? Because we are not doing any rework, no? Here, the other phases need not to do any rework. Only requirement related issues handled by the requirement team, nothing but the BA team, and they will fix the problem. But suppose if you start testing late, biggest issue. If you notice, after development, there is a problem in requirement. Every team member, they need to update software application. And based on that, cost of fixing of defect always high. So guys, what is the best practice to follow? When to start testing? See, software testing can start as early as possible in the development cycle. That is from the requirement phase. What is objective behind that? See, requirement related defect found later in STLC, it's always in higher cost to fix. So for that reason, do remember this. Testing should start always starting from the requirement. And even it's not like that after development only we do testing, before development we do testing. No, we have to start starting from this requirement phase, and we have to complete it till the release. Till we are releasing that software application to our customer, we have to continue with the testing process. Are you getting my point? So there are two types of testing. Whenever we test the software application without execution, that's called static testing. Whenever we do software testing with execution, that is called dynamic testing. And the types which I have written, verification, validation, these are nothing but the actual types of testing. Are you clear? So we can verify also and we can validate also particular software application. Intention remains same. Identify defect. So even though you are reviewing the document, you guys are responsible to identify defect from it. Review design document, identify defect from it. Can we review code? Yes. If you aware about programming, you can review code document also. Clear? So tester can review. One more question. Can, like, what kind of document tester can review? Let me tell you the answer. Tester can review all kind of documentation. That can be requirement, design, coding, test cases, everything we can review. Point clear? So when to start testing? Testing should start right from the requirement and it should continue till the release. And what is the objective behind that? If you start testing late, you will find out defect late, and fixing of those defects, it's again high cost. That's the reason we have to start testing early in the life cycle. Okay? Because early testing save time, even save money. Simple funda, right? And that is what you need to understand. Early testing always save your time, always save your money. Okay. But then there is a one more question. Then when we can stop? What do you think? When we can stop the testing? Guys, again, can you try for this answer again? Like when you can stop testing? So
After
whenever
validation,
we, yeah, go ahead.
after validation, we can stop the testing.
Okay, so after validation, we can stop the testing. So basically, you are trying to say that once it is confirmed that everything is okay, right? We found the defect got fixed by the developer. Now everything is perfect. We can stop the testing. Absolutely correct. But what do you think? Every time will be the same scenario? Not possible, right? Yeah, after deployment, we can stop testing, same thing. But every time it will be the same scenario. No guarantee, na? There might be a possibility. Maybe there is a problem in software application, there is a problem in the duration and the process, and we are not able to deploy software application on time. So in that case also what we can do, there might be positive scenario, there might be negative scenario. See the best answer. Here you need to understand economy of software testing. Okay, let me write economy of software testing. So what is this economy says that it is defined by the ISTQB. So let me explain that. ISTQB says that, suppose, consider this ratio. Okay. This is what we have a, let's say, quantity of a defect. Okay. And here, let's say this is our SDLC process. Means we have requirement phase, design phase, development, testing, and here we have deployment. Okay. Consider in my application, I have a ratio of a defect this much. Huge number of defect I'm having. So what is the first role? We have to fix those defects. Correct? So whenever you are trying to fix it, ratio will be like this. But again, I'm maintaining gap here. Why? Because guys, simple answer for this ISTQB, and it is purely defined that 100% testing is impossible. You can't test any application 100%. Then how much application or how much defect you can simple fix? So it is depends on acceptance criteria. As I told you, right? Whenever customers share their requirement, they define certain acceptance criteria. Example, your customer defines that suppose 95% my application must be defect free. Then 5% defect allowed. Are you getting my point? But it should be defect free for 95%. So we can test or we can fix the defect as per the acceptance criteria. Are you getting my point? So at this moment, what is happening? As soon as you are fixing the defect, what will increase? Here, cost will increase, right? So as soon as number of defect you are fixing, cost will increase. So in this economy, if you stop testing here, this will be considered as under testing, right? If you stop testing here, this will be considered as over testing. So then, what is the best point where we can stop the testing? Guys, this is the intersect point, which is in ISTQB, it is called as optimum point. So this point, it is actually defined the application. It's all about your software, or let's say organization risk. Okay, organization risk and testing effort. This is a point which is a balancing point. Balance between what? How much effort you are simply taking to test that application and what kind of risks are there based on that. So we can stop testing. The best answer for this question is what? It is completely depends on risk of that organization and the testing effort, guys. Nothing but on optimum point we can stop testing. You need to balance this. Why it is so? Because we can't do under testing, we can't do over testing, right? So how come? Let's understand different factor. So consider we have planned something like within 3 months application should be implemented. It should be 95% defect free. If you match acceptance criteria, definitely you can stop testing. Perfect. As per the plan, everything is done. We can stop testing after we have deployed the software application on time. Then you can stop testing. But there are some other criteria to be understand. What if bug rate falls below acceptance level? Means somewhere you are testing the application, 5% defects are allowed. But this bug rate fall below acceptable level. Means suppose now 95% application must be defect free. But now you are getting bug rate is falling down. Means it is now 4%, 3% only. Means basically 5% accepted. But we have bug rate below acceptance level. Immediately we can stop testing. Means if you match the acceptance criteria, right, you can easily stop the testing. See the point? So decision to stop testing, which is actually called exit criteria, and this is based on time, even budget, and some extent of testing. So exit criteria depends on organizational risk and testing effort. Means what? See the point. Possible scenarios. If coverage of code functionality requirement reaches to specific point, means everything is as per the expectation, stop testing. Project deadline or test finish, stop testing. Somewhere budget is exhausted. This is a negative scenario. Let me write positive and negative. This is positive, right? Everything as per the expectation is completed, we can stop. But somewhere budget is exhausted. Means what? It is defined that application should be implemented within so and so budget. But suppose at some point we need an extra budget. And if client is not paying you that new budget or extra budget, in that case, there is no use to continue testing process. So somewhere this is a rare case. But yes, this is also one more negative scenario. There might be problem with the deployment. We are not able to deploy the application within a given duration. Do stop testing over there. Clear? All critical test cases somewhere positive. All the critical test cases are covered. Everything is passed. Defects are properly fixed. And even bug rate fall below acceptable level. Acceptable, it is 95%. But now what is happening? 5% is it was allowed. But bug rate fall below acceptable level means it is now 4%, 3% I'm having. That means I'm having more quality product. Correct? And in that case also we can stop the testing. So whenever it is noticed that the application, every process is as per the simple requirement, expected point or acceptance criteria reaches, we can stop testing. So guys, you can simply answer that when to stop testing. This is nothing but exit criteria. And this is simply depends on what? The risk of organization and the testing effort. Based on that, we can stop the testing. And the best factor is what? Whenever we reach given acceptance criteria, we can stop the testing. Correct? So it is all about like whatever it is mentioned in that duration, in that particular deadline, if you complete the process, you can release that project to the customer. Are you getting my point? Because every time it will be not the same scenario. Like every time, like whatever you have planned, everything is working as per plan. There is no guarantee. So there might be problem with the timing. There might be problem with the budget. But if it happens, then as per the organizational risk, you can take the decision. And basically, it is mentioned and provided by the test manager to you. Okay, do not worry. These instructions will be getting when you can stop the testing. But the positive scenario is what? Simple. Whenever it is reaches to acceptance criteria, everything is as per the plan, we can definitely stop the testing. So understand the economic of testing, guys. So one point, what you have seen, 100% testing is impossible. We can't test any software application 100% as a quality one. There is no guarantee, guys. And that's the reason customer defines some acceptance criteria because they are also aware that no software application we can't test 100%. And for that reason, whatever criteria defined by the customer, we have to test the application as per that criteria only. Is this point clear? This is a concept called economic of software testing. Okay. So when to stop testing, the best practice is what? Depends on the risk of the organization and the testing effort. We can decide when to stop testing. Okay. Any doubt? Any query? Okay. So what the point we have seen today? One more topic is left, but that I will be covered tomorrow. So what the point we have seen today? It's all about basics of software application we have completed. We have seen what testing it is, what are the different reasons for defect, who can test the software application, almost everybody. But more relevantly, it is done by the tester. Do remember that. When to start testing, when to stop testing. The one more point is left that is all about best practices that I will cover tomorrow. Okay. Till the time, follow the recording and those have still not register, please do register it, right? Yeah, I will be sharing recording daily basis. You'll be getting that. Okay. Yesterday I have shared. I think you received everybody. Okay. So today
No,
I
ma'am.
see Govind and I can see Alok, no, Pavan, right? You have shared the email ID, but I think yesterday I have shared the recording. Okay. I think just a minute. Who said no? Pranita.
Ah, yes, yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Pranita, can you share your email ID on me to me WhatsApp?
Yes, yes, sure.
Yeah, so I will be sharing you yesterday recording too and today's recording too. Okay,
Okay, okay.
great. So guys, follow the recording. As I told you, I will be sharing the notes also. So just to complete your registration process, we'll be sharing the document, everything. Till the time you can refer the recording. Or maybe in today, in the email, I will be sharing the documents too, which you can start reading and referring it. Okay?
Yeah, one more thing,
Yeah,
ma'am.
sure. Go
Actually,
ahead.
it is there any ISTQB reference book or something for
Yeah.
foundation level?
Yes. There is a ISTQB reference book you can directly download from the official website. Let me help you. See,
Okay, yeah.
if you want to start preparing for ISTQB, you can search on Google this ISTQB Let me write istqb.org. That's the site name. And when you go to this now, just go to the certifications. Okay, so at a fresher level, you can go for this level. See, foundation level certification. There is a one more change. Latest syllabus is launched, that is version 4. Previous syllabus is version 3. Okay, so if you are planning to prepare it in 15-20 days, and if you are planning to give it, then before May, okay, March, this is a current month, March, April, May. Till May, older syllabus is applicable. But after May, if you are planning to give an exam, then the latest
Mhm.
syllabus is available. Okay, so you have to
Okay.
go to this and see there is a syllabus copy available. Okay, this is the latest syllabus version, version 4. You can download this copy and you can use it. Is that clear? And see, they have mentioned also for 9th May 2024, that's the last day for the older syllabus. So I will suggest don't go for older, because currently if you're learning, you have started the manual testing process now. First,
Mhm.
start understanding the technique process and prepare for the latest syllabus, and then you can
Okay.
go for the exam. Okay.
Okay. Any
And
textbook
even
I'm
mhm.
asking about? Any textbook or something?
Okay, textbook you need to check on. I think I don't know name, but I'll do one thing. I'll drop the
Mhm.
message in the WhatsApp. Let me check that which textbooks you can
Okay.
follow. Okay.
Uh-huh. Yes.
So mostly I'm not using any textbook. Like once I prepare for the ISTQB, I usually simple follow the syllabus copy because everything is mentioned in that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
even if you notice now, they have given some sample exam questions paper too. So once you
Okay.
prepare, you can go for this exam questions paper, and even they have mentioned their answers also. So somewhere if you might think that it is wrong, right? Then why it is actually given, which answer is correct, that also you can tally. So they have
Okay.
given some question paper, even answer paper that you can follow. Okay, but
Yeah.
let me
Sure.
check with the document or any other book
Mhm.
is available. I'll share you
Mhm.
that detail. Okay.
Yes.
Fine. So first of all, other participants start preparing for manual testing, right? Our main focus is here first. Once you complete the manual testing process, then I'll guide you like as per the topic tomorrow itself. Okay, we'll be starting with the ISTQB dumps also. So I will be sharing some questions. And in the live session only, you need to read the question, read the options, and you need to think and answer which one is correct. Okay, so whatever we have seen for now, for based on that only, I will be giving you some kind of questions so that you will understand in ISTQB what type of questions generally available. Okay, fine, great. So let's stop the session. Okay, Pavan, Amol, even I can see Govind. Do you have any query?
No, I'm good.
Okay, fine. Okay, I hope you guys are understanding, right? Fine, no issues. It's theory part only, so it's very easy to remember also, but read daily. Okay, great. So let's stop the session and we will continue rest of the topics again from tomorrow. Pranita, just ping me on a WhatsApp. I'll share the recording.
Mhm.
Okay, bye everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.